Rasheer Fleming, Gerald, a wonderful article up at gophnx.com for our diehards only. But we figured let's pull back the curtain a little bit and show them what they're missing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a diehard, you should, because we've got lots of off-season content coming your way, lots of breakdowns. I'm going to be going through every single newcomer from Jalen Green, who I've already done, all the way to Isaiah Livers, who's the new guy on the two-way. So we got lots of good stuff coming up. And this one was a really fun one because I feel like when you talk to a guy's college coach, sometimes you can tell that maybe they're not the highest on their NBA prospects. And Billy Lang out at St. Joe's gave me about 15 minutes of his time and was just ranting and raving about this kid and how he's going to fit in with the Suns and how he's going to transition to the NBA. So I came away from the conversation feeling pretty good about the pick, and I already liked Rasheer Fleming going into that conversation. So if you're looking for insight into Fleming's game, into kind of who he is off the court as well, I talked to Fleming, Brian Gregory, Billy Lang, all these different people about Fleming. And it's one of my favorite articles that I've written in a while. So make sure to go check that out. But we are going to share some of the audio with you because I had that phone conversation with him and recorded it. Here's what Billy Lang had to say about Fleming's character and his work ethic.
Very long time. I've been in some really good places that attract generally good people. He is the highest character human that I've ever coached. And I've been around great people. I've been at the Naval Academy. So that says a lot, because of who I've been around. So his character, he just is very, very pure. There's no distractions. So he wants to work. The second thing is, his work ethic. If I've coached 200 guys, he's top 3 or 4, Jeremy Grant, TJ McConnell, he's in that vein as it comes to just working. He's just has I told this to Brian Gregory, his appetite for learning, for trying to master something that he can't do, for perfecting something, for staying after practice, it's insatiable. And it's awesome because he inspires you to want to help him because he's such a good kid.
Sorry about the audio, y'all. That's about as loud as we can get it this time. Next time we do a phone call stuff, we'll bump that up for you beforehand. But still really good stuff. I think saying he's the highest character guy that he's ever coached is insane because he's also probably one of the more talented that he's ever coached as well. And that fits in, Gerald, to the points that Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia have been saying about you're going to represent the Phoenix Suns the right way and do the right thing while you're here. I'm so ecstatic they're able to get this kid at 31.
Absolutely. I mean, he fits a lot of the traits that they needed. A lot of people are talking about, well, who's going to start at the 4? I don't think it'll be Rasheer Fleming, but I think he's got the body and the size to play the 4. He's got that work ethic and that high character that they are looking for. Ryan Dunn said it best. Brian Gregory wants dogs. Rasheer Fleming is absolutely one of those guys. And Gregory said it at the press conference as well to introduce the rookies. All 3 of these guys up here represent exactly what the Phoenix Suns are about. And it doesn't hurt that he can shoot or that he made a shooting leap. And I think that's going to be his biggest swing skill in the NBA, going from last year at St. Joe's shooting 39% from 3 on 4.5 attempts to the first 2 years. It was 2.7 attempts and he only shot 31%. But I actually did get to talk to Billy Lang about his growth as a shooter and whether he sees that being a skill that will translate to the next level.
And I'll tell you something else. I give the kid credit. When your wingspan is that long, it's hard to be a good shooter. You really have to work at your shot pocket and not having a lot of extra mechanics in your shot. And he's really changed the shot over 3 years. It's why he shot the ball so effectively for us this year. He learned how to, if this makes sense, to kind of compact his stroke and his shot pocket for a 7'5" wingspan. And his upside as a shooter at your level is going to be really high.
It's kind of like you're reading my mind here, because I was just about to ask you about the shooting being kind of his biggest swing skill, but that improvement that he made from sophomore to junior year, you see that kind of being something he can hold up at the next level?
Oh, I think he'll just get better and better at it because he's going to have the time to rep it. He doesn't have to concern himself with class. Even early on at your level, that's going to be a big part of his offense. It's just to catch and shoot. We had to develop so many other things, but the work that he put in from about this time, he's always been a better shooter than anyone thought he would be coming out of high school, but if you just take this, if you look at just the swing from, the start of his freshman year until now, you should be very encouraged that he's going to be a very solid, consistent, I think, high 30s three-point shooter at your level. And the fact that he's learned how to kind of figure out his own body and his wingspan for his shot pocket, I think is really encouraging.
We're always looking at extra ways to tell people to be diehards. If you were a diehard, we'll bump the audio up for you, and you could also read the article. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post for our audio folks. But I mean, you said he was reading your mind, Gerald. He's addressing whatever your Suns fan wants to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that when you look at a guy with a 7'5" wingspan, like he was talking about, some guys can struggle to not have extra in their shot with arms that long, but he worked to really make sure it was more of a compact release. It's something he's going to have to continue working on. I think it could be a little bit quicker of a release, but the shooting definitely translated last year. The other big thing that I wanted to ask him about was because of his skill set, because of his size at St. Joe's, he was more of a 4 and honestly a lot of times a 5. But at the next level, like with the 3-and-D skill set, is he a 3? Is he a 4? Where does he see him kind of fitting in? He gave a really great detailed response on that.
It's a really good question. I'll start with the last part of your question, and I'll move it back to the cutting. One of the things I've told all the NBA organizations when you get him and he's like around you for a few days, you're going to be blown away by like the sheer size of him. And I don't mean just like head to toe 6'9". I mean like the girth, the shoulders, the ankles, the calves, the quadriceps, the hips. He's a big guy, and so you want to make him like a 3, but he's not built like Trevor Ariza. That's not how he's built. He's like, I told Brian Greger this. I'm like, if your strength coach wants him to be 255, he can do it in 2.5 months without any doubt. So I think that like you'll train his skill set, if this makes sense, to be a 3 because it'll make him a more diverse, unpredictable 4 or 5. But he's going to be a 4 or small ball 5 at your level based on my experience. So because of that, I tried to use him in a way that we used, like a Jeremy Grant or a Robert Covington or even like an Ersan Ilyasova out of 5. I studied Naz Reid, guys that I thought he could kind of project into. So, learning how to pick and pop, learning how to catch it on a short roll and make quick decisions. Like, we've done a ton of that since the time he's gotten there. And I think he's developed that. And I think that, like, that growth, now that he's going to get it with unbelievable coaching every day, he's coming to you guys with a good, solid foundation in that space. And then the final piece, that I'm excited about, when you play like guys with Devin Booker and Jalen Green that are, like, such good drivers and playmakers, like, your instincts and feel for being able to cut have to be really good. You can steal baskets without dribbling. He's unbelievable at that stuff. Like, he's already an advanced NBA player when it comes to those things, and we emphasized a lot of that in our offense. So I'm hoping that he starts with Coach Odd at a good foundation, and without any doubt, you guys will get him a lot better.
Listen, Gerald, you've been in media for a long time. I've been in media for a long time. We've heard a lot of answers about players from former and current coaches. A lot of people will hear somebody rave and rant about a kid for 2 minutes and then respond with saying, well, what is he supposed to say? Mm-hmm. You can tell a genuine difference when like if you probably saw his eyes, it was a phone call, but when you ask that type of question where he talks about him, it sounds like he's lighting up at the opportunity to speak well about this kid, not be dragged into it.
Absolutely. Full disclosure, if these guys had negative thoughts about these players, they would just turn down the interview. They wouldn't even do the interview. Like, I wouldn't be able to get a hold of these college coaches. The fact that, like, yes, obviously he's going to have some biases as his college coach, but the idea that he's just going to say nothing but positive things just because he played for him is not true. We talked a lot in that interview about areas for growth for Rasheer Fleming. Those are all included in the article. So I don't want anybody to think that just because he's saying a bunch of positive things, it's because he was his college coach. It's not necessarily it. I think that they had a good situation there where they really got along. And he, like he said, he was one of the highest character individuals that he's ever had. But at the end of the interview, he also gave us last 3 things that he wanted Suns fans to know about him.
Yeah, I would say 3 things. I mean, one, he's like incredibly faithful, God-following kid. Like it's inspiring to teammates and adults. Like he just was a guy. I mean, for 3 straight years, he lead us a pregame prayer in our locker room. That's like really hard to do for a peer, and he was awesome at it. I think the second thing is the whole gym will be tired of hand slaps and fist bumps. I mean, this guy fist bumps literally everybody before practice and everybody after he leaves, from equipment managers to trainers to graduate assistants to coaches. He's so grateful. Honestly, he'll do it every day, every shoot around, every pregame work. Those things will be funny. And then he's probably the best smelling player I've been around.
Breaking news, Rasheer Fleming smells good. I like how he had to get that one in there. I mean, Gerald, like, obviously we were all thrilled when the Suns were wheeling and dealing to move up, to get him at 31 when he dropped to the second round. The potential, the measurables, the idea of Rasheer Fleming is great. Now, does it turn into a successful NBA player? The story's still out there. But after hearing what his coach had to say about him, after seeing him a little bit, like, what was your biggest takeaway from that conversation about the 31st pick?
Yeah, I think it's just that I hope that a lot of these skills translate, because if the swing skill like shooting translates, if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think the Suns got a very good 2-way player who directly addresses their need at the 4. I think what Billy Lang said about you kind of train him as a 3, because then he can be a much more versatile 4 or a 5 in a small ball setting, makes a lot of sense. And it's awesome because Jordan Ott, I mentioned this in the article, he made note of the fact that at St. Joe's, when he was watching Rasheer Fleming film, he would see the way that they ran like an NBA style offense and the unique way that they use Fleming. And then you hear Billy Lang talking about, I tried to use him like a Jeremy Grant or an Ersan Ilyasova or these different 4s and small ball 5s. And that's encouraging for me, for him being able to translate his game to the next level. So if you want to read more, there's a lot more in the article. There's a lot of highlight clips on top of that. It's over at gophnx.com.
Yeah, no, super excited for all of you guys to be able to dive into that and talk about it in our Die Hard Discord, because you don't just get Gerald's writing. When you become a Die Hard today, you get a free t-shirt or hat. When you sign up, 20% discount to all of our events, an ad-free experience on our website, plus access to our Die Hard Discord, where we were talking all sorts of Suns ball, and we do every single day. I can't wait to see what it looks like when Bradley Beal is eventually bought out. But we appreciate every single one of you who joined us on a Tuesday as we continue to wait for news. We're thinking tomorrow, Thursday, something's going to happen. But if nothing happens tomorrow, we'll be going live at 2 o'clock Arizona time, doing another watch along with the AC on. But hopefully the Summer Suns give us a little bit of a better game to react to tomorrow. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of Rasheer Fleming, maybe some small ball 5, maybe some 4, some 3 action for him. Who knows who else will play? But if you want to get real-time, in-the-moment updates on who's available for the Suns in Summer League, all the other biggest news, plus some jokes and some memes as well. Follow us on socials at PHNX_Suns. That's on Twitter and on Instagram to be the most informed Suns fan that you can be. And of course, you can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow the Juice Man, aka Freckled Mamba, at Freckled Mamba. And you can follow me at ERIKRUBY. And all I want is for a coach to talk about me the way that Billy Lang talked about Rasheer Fleming.
We all silly like the mayor.